We're fired up to continue the conversation. We've got Marcel Marcondes up next. He is the Chief Marketing Officer of Anheuser-Busch in the US. And Marcel leads marketing for Budweiser, Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, Stella Artois, and is responsible for a transformation within his marketing org, where people are always at the center of everything he does. Thanks for joining us, Marcel.
Thanks for having me. Hello,
Marcel,
Gary.
How are you, my man?
Good, my brother. How are you doing?
For everybody watching, one of my favorite marketers to interact with. Ironically, and I want to be really crazy transparent on this show. Both of us are running so fast. This is on me because he's the client. We're not spending as much time as I'd like. So I love this. We've been actually have a rally of spending more time together over the last couple of months. One of the nice things from a business standpoint with COVID. Marcel, I find you to be one of the more creative CMOs that I work with. How important is creativity? You know, though subjective, right? Beauty in the eye of beholder. But when I say the word creativity, how do you think of that as one of the most important CMOs in the world on some of the most iconic brands in a category that has a lot of permission to be creative?
Well, thanks for the words, Gary, and hello again. I think that creativity nowadays is kind of your ticket to play, because we were just talking about how many social platforms you have to work with and how much people are going through second screens, third screens, endless screens. Like, unless you are creative, you don't grab people's attention, and therefore you don't even start a conversation, and therefore you do not exist.
Yep. Optimism has been very obvious to me observing from afar. You know, for disclosure for everybody, we work with Highball, we work with Budweiser in the domestic market. Most of the brands within the ABI portfolio, other agencies work with Marcel on, and I've been very fond of some of the work across the board. Obviously, very proud of our Budweiser work, but Marcel, it seems that optimism through the lens of entertainment has been a theme that I've noticed from even the work. You know, we don't necessarily talk about that. And I think, you know, am I right? Is that, you know, I'm kind of watching it. It seems like you've doubled down on this during this time. Am I pinning it? Am I not? Like, thoughts when I say that?
I think you're completely right, Gary. For a simple reason, we're humans. And especially in times like this, we all need some optimism. Like, if you turn on the TV, you're going to watch the news all the time. It's all about how many people are dying, right? That's all the people consume. So we need more than ever some optimism. We need to see the bright side. We need to enjoy all the opportunities we can. And also we need to talk a little bit about how do we get out of this in a better way so that we can make good plans instead of just being consumed by fear. And this takes us to something that you mentioned in the beginning, like people centricity, right? It applies to creativity and to anything we need to do in marketing. If there's one thing that for me, it's like we've just reached the point of no return, is on people centricity. Like, yeah. If there's any person or any company still trying to do something because this is what I think is best for me, but without making sure that it's what people are really expecting, or without being sure that it's relevant for people, it's gone. Optimism is something that people care about now, maybe more than ever.
What's been the biggest challenge for you over these 75 days? You know, 90 days, whatever we're now in, like, you know, you're sitting in this massive global company. Like I mentioned earlier in the ARod talk, you know, by being a company that does a ton of business in China at a macro level, you know, the organization felt the effects earlier than US only centric businesses. What's been the biggest challenge for you personally in the micro or the macro as an organization?
The biggest challenge that I face still is to redefine the agenda so we can pivot fast. Because we're pivoting everything, all the plans. We're adjusting all the plans, all the programs, all the content to the new routines that people are having, to the new consumption occasions that people are having. So we have to pivot fast. And therefore it starts from within. You have to change your routine, you have to change your processes so that the outcome changes as well.
How do you go fast when you're so humongous?
Yeah, it's a great question. So you have to over communicate, I guess, with your team. Over communicating in times like this is crucial, and you have to be obsessed about consumer information. So the more you understand which are the shifts that people are making, the more confident you get about the pivots you need to make. So instead of talking too much about what if this, what if that, let's test 3 options, you say from here to there, this is it, let's go. You become more decisive.
So just clicking down, because what's really incredible about this VaynerX Presents situation is this lineup is insane. By the way, everybody's watching right now. I saw all your screenshots. I'm looking at it right now on Twitter with me and ARod. And I understand that Marcel and I, well, I'm not going to speak for Marcel, but we're not as handsome as ARod, but we need some screenshots, and I need some Marcel quotes in there with hashtag marketing for the now. Speaking of which, Marcel, so because there's so many CMOs, senior marketers, it's a really interesting audience. There's probably 20% social media active individuals, and the rest is our industry. So there's a lot of leaders in here who could easily be on as guests, and will probably be on as we do this 6-week kind of adventure, who probably really paid attention to that last part. So to that part, what have you actually done internally? Let's get right to, I'm gonna force a double click here, because it's great in theory. What can you share that you've actually done that has helped your organization in any shape, from communication or speed?
Okay, so let's talk about something that you and I did together, Gary, right?
Okay,
so
that's good. That makes me happy.
No,
Go ahead.
exactly, right? So we see that there's millions of people that are now doing the virtual happy hours,
That's
right?
right. Oh,
First, because they want to socialize, and also because they need mental health. They need to connect with people. We're humans, right?
100%.
So we brought back WhatsApp, the campaign.
WhatsApp.
From decades ago. But it's not just because we felt like, wow, this is a cool campaign, let's bring it back. There's a reason, right? So that was a relevant piece of content for the times that we're living now. It was all about saying, do not forget to reach out to your friends and family, right? So reach out to them. I did it with a bud, right? So that you can be in a good mental health, and this is what people are doing. So it's all about being contextually relevant to what people are looking for in a creative way. This is one of the examples that drove amazing results, and by the way, we did it together.
I love that. What about internal comms? Have you been surprised how well the marketing and sales organizations have been working on Zoom, Google Hangouts, Microsoft Meets, WebEx, I don't know, Blue Jeans, I don't know what you guys are using. I've used them all at this point. Have you been surprised, or did you expect that to be true?
I'm extremely surprised. Being very honest, we were very skeptical about our ability to stay productive working like this. And I'm pretty sure that the big majority of us are saying, you know what? It's really surprising. It's really impressive how much we're still managing to drive business continuity with a very high level of productivity using those virtual tools. So it's a very big and positive surprise.
Back to going fast, because again, I'm now thinking 80% internal executives at Fortune 5000 companies. Do you think casting matters for speed? Like, is it just a human thing? Like, do you feel like you have people in your team that just naturally, if I was on your team, I'm an entrepreneur trait in person, I'd only want to go fast, probably breaking things, and you probably have to fire me eventually. But, do you feel it's a casting thing? Do you think that some people inherently just like fast and other people just like process?
Maybe yes, Gary. I think yes. Some people are more open to that and enjoy, and some people perform better in that kind of environment. Other people don't. But regardless of that, I think everybody needs to get adapted to that, because
you have no choice.
That's the norm, period. Right? Especially for us. I love to hear Alex saying, speaking about Anheuser-Busch, exactly how come a big company moves as fast as this. And by the way, he's been an amazing partner. This is one of our top 5 mantras. We got to move fast. We like to believe that we're still a small startup that became big, but that's how we move.
Switching gears for the 20 to 30% that I know are just entrepreneurs, Gary Vee fans, youngsters, a lot of college. How did you get into the marketing industry? Little, very personal story. I'd love to, by the way, a lot of people asking me about Marcel's Twitter handle. I just ironically followed him. So I'm going to share that right now. I'm going to tweet his last post I'm retweeting it right now from February 3rd. So I just did that so you can all follow him. Marcel, you're about to explode your Twitter here.
Love it. Thank you.
How did you personally get into, you personally, very personal, not how should they, how did you get into the marketing business? Because I think there's 5 to 10 people right now where their life can change. They're going to get excited by this 2 hours and decide they want to be a brand manager or a CMO one day instead of being an entrepreneur. How did you do it?
How do I do it, or how do I get it? I mean, back to the beginning.
How did you do it? Back to the beginning. Young Marcel.
Okay. All right. Now, my big thing was to feel like I would be able to influence people behavior, period. And that was the question that I needed to answer. And I decided by trying multiple things that by building brands, I would be able to deal with a lot of the creative work that I was also very passionate about, but in a way that would be able to influence people's behavior. And that was the whole beginning. By the way, I started my career as a trainee for Unilever, and Fernando Machado and I started together in the very same group of trainees.
Is that right? Tell everybody who Fernando is for the people that don't know.
It's the global CMO for RBI, right? So Burger King, as people usually know them. So since the 90s, we're exchanging best practices and talking about advertising and having beers, burgers, and pizzas, talking about it. So there's a lot of passion, but also a big desire to make an influence on people behavior.
Do you, a little rapid fire, do you pay attention to other brands in your own category or other categories, or not at all, or a lot? How do you play when you're just curious, competition, inspiration? How do you personally play with following what other people are doing, whether it's commercials, whether it's digital content? You personally, do you follow your category, every other category but yours, both, not a bunch of either? What's your personal world on that? Because you're busy and you have a family, you have sitting down and other content.
So the straightforward answer is the following. For my category and for the alcoholic industry, I have a process for that because I have to know what's going on. So there's a natural process embedded in my routine already so that I can be aware of everything that is going on. Beyond the category is all about all the interactions we have with amazing people from the industry and my personal curiosity because I love this business. But I'm constantly looking for inspiration. We can never stop learning. Things are changing way too fast for us to believe that we know how to get things done.
It's audacious.
Exactly. It's just bizarre. So we need to feel like we're learning every day. Otherwise, it's for sure going to have trouble tomorrow.
Marcel, what in the last 3 minutes or so that we have, what have we not touched on that you're proud of, you're curious about, that you want people thinking about, that's important to you? Selfish, selfless. What's on your mind? 90 seconds.
I think it's something that you and I always talk about, Gary, which is all about taking calculated risks.
Yeah.
I guess for marketers, it's all about making decisions every day. And although we're always going to try to get some answers so that we can make informed decisions, we will never have all the answers we need. So this is why I always go, especially for people willing to move really fast like us, even the way we speak, and I try to learn from you on how to speak even faster. Right? So for me, the more we understand what's going on with consumers, the more comfortable we get by making decisions, because you are more precise on what is exactly the point that you want to address.
Marcel, what about you with social networks personally? And it's okay if you do none of them. I'm just always curious. Is there any that you like? Are they native to you? Do you feel comfortable in them? Do you create anywhere? Do you use any?
I do use LinkedIn. I use Facebook. I use Instagram. But I have to say, basically, more as an observer than like
you're listening. You're listening more than talking.
I'm more active on LinkedIn because I share what we do at work. On the other ones, I'm more paying attention to what's going on, to use that as inspiration to what's trending and where people are going to.
I love it. And then final points, anything on TikTok? It's the kind of hot thing right now. Have you consumed it? Family members? I know we've talked about it. You know, obviously it starts off young, which is always a place alcohol is going to be like, okay, we have to wait. You know, your personal including have no thoughts on it, haven't gotten there yet, been under the pandemic too much. Like, any hot takes on TikTok from your perspective?
I guess the most straightforward answer I can give you is that I cannot wait until we can play. We can be part of it, right?
I love that.
And I know you're there waiting for that opportunity as well.
I can't wait. I'm hungry. We're going to am I going to curse? Yeah, we're going to fucking dominate once we get in there together. So looking forward to it. Marcel, thank you so much, brother. I know how busy you are by having you as a client. I know what's going on in your world. For you to take this time for everybody. I'm really pumped. I really need you to go on Twitter. I know you're not the most active, but I'm telling you right now, this is a real moment for you. People are quoting some things you've said, tagging you. It's a real nice moment. Spend 15 minutes and enjoy it. Get to know some people. I know you can help a lot of them.
I will do it for sure. And I'm always looking forward to learning from them as well. Thank you so much, man. Now it's great talking to you.